takes a crash like a champ. Oh my god. He's a little he's wiggling a little, bro. He's fine. He's like, I'm fine. I'm all fine here. Oh my god. Bro, he literally. He's good, man. For the brotherhood, bro. That's funny, man. Wow. Look at him. Yeah, I'd be like, is he gonna attack me? Like, these games bug out all the time. Who's he even fighting? Yeah, you know, Fallout 4, man. What was it about Fallout 4? What was it about Fallout 4 that I just couldn't do? You know what I mean? Like, I wonder, like, for you people out there who may be watching this, see if we can just get some gameplay here. Like, Fallout 4 was a good game. Almost too much of a game. Like, I think about like everything that I did in Fallout 4. So I played it when it first came out, and I don't think I played it on PC first. I have it on PC. Maybe I did. I don't remember. I think I played it like on PlayStation first and then later on PC. And my wife is a huge Fallout fan. Fallout 3 specifically, but she played New Vegas like a lot. I didn't play a lot of New Vegas. I played a lot of Fallout 3. I really enjoyed Fallout 3. I would say that I like Elder Scrolls more than I like Fallout. But I've played Fallout 76 a good bit. And Fallout 4 is one of those games for me where you know how on Steam there'll be somebody that comes out and they're like, they have a review and they say this game sucks. They're like, this game sucks, man. Things are broken. It's just not good. And then their play time's like 1,000 hours. Like there was an X post recently where somebody had like 20. It was like something ridiculous, like 20,000 hours in Ark Evolved, or like one of those Ark dinosaur games, and he's like wanted a refund. He's like, the game's just bullshit now, man. This game's bullshit. But he's played like 10,000 hours. I think Fallout 4 is that game for me. Because if I want to talk about it here like I am, I'm like, I didn't really love Fallout 4. But damn, I played a lot of Fallout 4, guys. Like if I think back of like what I did, I've started a couple of games on PC. I've done some mod stuff, played around with mods. When the show came out, I turned it on and did a little bit. I didn't do very much, but I did a little bit in Fallout 4. Whenever they did like the console update, I was like, well, let me check it out. Played it a few hours, maybe more than a few hours, but I don't think I built a settlement. I'll say that. I don't think I actually built up a settlement. And like my wife will say, she didn't like the settlement stuff. I really liked the settlement stuff. But I think after a while, after I built like 15 settlements, it was kind of like, okay, maybe we don't do settlements anymore. Like the game kind of devolved. Like I couldn't ever get a good pace with the game, with the story, like I could Fallout 3, because the characters were not very compelling to me. And then the storyline where like your son is like the leader of, and spoiler alert here, I think your son that you try to find is like a leader. He's an old man now. And he's like the leader of the Synth, which is like the underground sci-fi looking robots faction in the game, which they're pretty cool. They have like the coolest weapons, in my opinion. Like, I wanted to drive through the story, but I got so distracted by the building that and it wasn't a bad thing. I really enjoyed it. But after a certain point, it's like, how many donuts can I eat? You know, because there's like 100 donuts. Like if you compare settlement building to donuts, right? And you say, all right, I'm going to sit down and eat some donuts. You love donuts. You enjoy donuts. You look at 100 donuts, you say, I can eat all these. I can eat all these donuts. But then you start in on them and you're like, you get to like, through the course of the day, you get to like the 13th, 14th donut. And you're like, hey, maybe I can't do any more donuts. Even though they're great. You know? That is how settlement building was for me. And it was like the thing I wanted to do. It was like the sugar drive. I was like, yeah, like the story was cool, but I was like, I got to get back to the settlement building. I got to get settlers and recruit those guys. I got to get that. I didn't really care about like tons of like armor. Because in this game, you had like armor pieces per arm and leg, and you could like get a whole suit, and then you had the nuclear battery fission reactor that goes in it that's like limited, which felt a bit tedious. I mean, it's a cool thing, you know, it works for Fallout 76, whatever. Felt a bit tedious as a system. I might have just wanted to like just have one and just like recharge it, and like maybe we don't need that much gear to repair and change. But if you're a huge Fallout 4 fan, you might be like, nah, bro, I love that there was like tons of different suits and arm and leg pieces and helmets and paints that I could do. And, you know, I think there was just a little too much maybe. And, you know, I think like, for the Frontier guys, Preston Garvey, right? The meme, like, hey, there's another settlement that needs you. I think I remember doing that whole story. I remember like I did the fort. There was like a fort where if you go through the story enough, you could turn the big military fort in town into a settlement. And then once you did that, you could like mortar anywhere on the map. I think it was a cooldown, but like if you're in a fight and you're like, I'm going to mortar from my base, you got this big base to mortar from. And so like I did all of that. The main story I fell off of eventually, just because like it just kind of became too much. And then two, it's like with mods and everything with a game like this, it's like you play it day one and you go all in on day one. It's fundamentally going to be a better game like 4 years from release. When mods are out that fix things, when, you know, upgrades happen that kind of fix the Bethesda systems, it's a better game. So like Starfield, right? Now Starfield's kind of a weird example because Starfield, I think, doesn't have enough legs or a modding community to make it great. Because like Bethesda will put a game out and it's like, if there's a lot of stuff that's around the edges, they know the modding community will come in and fix their game or make it great, right? Like they did for Skyrim and for Fallout 4. But for Starfield, they lean heavily in on like, we're going to charge for all the mods. And they're a little greedy. And I don't know if people like Starfield enough to even care to make it better. I mean, dude, Skyrim, like people made complete expansions. Oblivion, and this was such a kick to the nuts for the Sky Oblivion guys. You know, they were making an Oblivion version of like a version of Oblivion. They were remaking it, just a group of dudes, but in the Skyrim engine, and they were working on it for years and years. And then suddenly Bethesda comes out and says, "Hey, here's that, but better. Here's the Unreal Engine 5 Oblivion remake." And those guys are like, fuck. You know, well, I mean, they made it sound like they're still like, we're still going to do our thing too. You know, and like Bethesda got them up and got them to the office. You know, I was like, yay, we're all in this together, guys. It's such a weird thing. You know, like, hey, you guys are committing your life to remaking a game that we did, and we shipped it off to China with Virtuoso or whatever that company is, and we just went ahead and did it. And now that it's awkward and you know about it, why don't you guys come up and just tell us your ideas about how you do things? Now that we've stolen your entire fire. Anywho, my point is that I don't think there's going to be anybody making Starfield better on a large scale. Maybe I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. There's some things I like about Starfield, but the core of it's a little rotten, maybe. Again, I played a lot of Starfield. I think I did all of Starfield. Okay, I'm going to say this. I think I played everything. I think I did everything you can do in Starfield. Like, if there's any random encounters in Starfield that I missed, there probably are some of those. But, like, I went down every main storyline. I did the main mission. I jumped through the portal, not to ruin the game. I did New Game Portal Plus several times. I did it all, man. I did the DLC with the Snake People, House of Varun or whatever. And I'll say, like, I wish there was settlement stuff with that game. See, Starfield, and I know I talk about Starfield a lot because I want it to be good or better. Again, it's not the worst thing in the world, guys. Like, it's not a 1 out of 10. It's just like sometimes games come out and you play them and it's so easy to imagine, like, damn, they could be so much better. And it's not like graphical. It's not like, oh, this would be better if this was better graphics. It's like, this would be better if this system was just slightly different. Like, if this system was fleshed out and maybe this system they didn't do too much on, that's what I mean. Games like that are kind of a struggle because, like, you have like a base and it's like, man, you guys just went in the wrong direction. Like, you got all the tools and it's frustrating because, like, you got the tools, you have the world, you have things here. If you just would have went left instead of right, you would have been like S tier versus like B tier. So with Fallout 4, like, the thing I'll say about it is that I put a lot of time into it and I really love the scrapping system and the settlement building and everything like that. But I don't know if it's going to go down in my mind as like, this is one of my favorite games, you know? And I don't have an answer. And I, you know, like, you guys can let me know in the comments, like, if you have an answer, maybe. Or maybe you felt the same way. Or maybe you'd be like, nah, dude, Fallout 4 is the fucking best. Like, I did it all. I guess my favorite game of all time. You know, like, I don't know what it needed to do differently for me to, like, take it all the way to the story and complete it and, like, go, like, do every settlement. It's like, I don't know what it could have done to get me to complete the whole thing. But it's also, these games are kind of like, I mean, I would say for the masses, are Bethesda games meant to be completed? Like, I would love to know the numbers of Starfield, Fallout 4, of all the copies that are out there. Like, how many copies of Fallout 4 were sold? And the game did not get beaten. And what I mean by that is, like, the main story did not get completed. I bet that number's high. There's probably articles on that. I'm not going to Google it right now. But I bet there were a shit ton of Fallout 4 games sold and an alarming amount of people that didn't complete the story. And is that a failure? No, not on paper. And maybe that's why Starfield was the way that it was, where it's like, maybe because, like, Starfield felt very incomplete in a lot of ways. And the story felt kind of complete, but maybe like on paper, they're like, look, we can go really hard on all these systems, but the people are going to buy the game, and bro, they're not going to beat the game anyway. Like, we just have to sell copies, and people can go like whatever direction they want to go in the game. Like, if they just want to do space, or they just want to do this or that, or like the settlement stuff in Starfield was a huge downgrade compared to Fallout 4. Like, in Fallout and in Starfield, you can create settlements on planets and have like engineers and like the unlocks are incredible. It takes forever to unlock all the things to do for settlements. It's extremely difficult to play so much to get to be able to do all the types of buildings for a settlement on the planets. But whereas settlements in Fallout 4 were a part of the story, and there was kind of like a supply line between it, and I just remember it being like somewhat useful to the story and having like multiple places to go back and do things, and it was kind of a management sim. Starfield didn't really have that. Like I think you could mine and do things like that, but it was such a bare bones, and to the game of Starfield, to the like, it didn't enhance the game. It was just kind of tacked on at the end. And like, if you mine or anything, like it doesn't make you rich. It doesn't really help you that much. I mean, from my memory, like I remember you can store materials and you can mine materials, but like, to what end and for what? Like, I don't even remember. I think like for money, like for like something like No Man's Sky, that's kind of like an MMO-ish, MMO light. If you do settlements in that game, it's kind of like a source of money for you. Like if you do like an Elite Dangerous, right? You can't do really, I don't think you can do settlements, but like everything's kind of about like the economy. And you kind of need to have settlements for like economical purposes. There was really no reason to have bases in Starfield. I remember, so for a while you could cheese it to where there was like an XP hack where this was the value of it. So in Starfield, you could find a planet with a couple different materials where you could just make a bunch of like little reactor devices, like just a little crafting material, but you'd have like 3 minerals and you put them together, and you'd have so many materials at your base, you could just like spam make 1,000 of them, right? You just like boom, 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 just knock them out. Just like wait, you can go sleep for 3 days straight, come back like and wake up and just spam, 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 spam. And then if you did that, it was kind of like an XP boost to give you levels. Well, here's the thing: there's like 400 levels. So you're doing it and you're like, okay, I'm leveling up, and you're like, well, to what end? Like, do I even need to unlock any more? I've beaten the game and the story. Like, there's no content I can't beat. I don't really need money for anything. I can buy ships, but honestly, like, the ships that I build myself are better. I know this isn't about Starfield, and I went on a rant here, so I apologize, but yeah, something about Fallout 4 was like, I'll absolutely play a Fallout 5, but there was something about it that just didn't have the heart of Fallout 3. And maybe the simplicity of it. I don't know. It felt, I don't know. You may disagree with me. You may agree with me, but let me know. Let me know what you think. What have I done? I have audio going. Oh, it's this. Let me know what you think in the comments on that. I don't know. I played it a lot, but I don't think it's a great game. So explain that one. I played the hell out of it, but I think it's like not a good game. Why? Why am I like this? All right.